How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the weekly Gaming Blast. I'm your host, AkibanaZero.
And I'm Rue the Gamer. Hello.
Really exciting week this week,
It
right?
has been.
Gamescom,
Gamescom, various other bits that have just appeared out of nowhere as well, which has been good.
eh, and some controversial news as well.
Yep, there's been a bit of that.
A bit of that. It can't be the gaming industry without controversy, right?
Although I think this is probably the biggest, controversial week we've had so far.
More or less so, yeah. We've got how many controversial items? We have 3 or 4 controversial items going on over here. This is it's crazy. Crazy
And
week.
they're all quite big as well. That's the problem. They all have rather large implications, which I think makes the whole issue a little bit bigger.
I think I know you're pretty pissed off about at least one of these.
I'm pissed off about 3 out of the 4. So, yeah.
This is gonna be fun. So what have you been playing this week?
Well, once again, what I've been playing has to come with some disclosure. If anyone has been on either my site or the site that I write for, Nintendo Scene, they'd have seen that I've got a press version of the Nintendo SNES Mini.
The SNES.
So that's what I've been doing. I've been playing old SNES games and realizing that I am still shit at them now.
Have you tried the Star Fox? The unreleased Star Fox?
I haven't yet because I think I can say this. Yeah, it's past preview embargo. I can say this. You have to unlock Star Fox 2.
What?
And for that, you need to finish the first level of Star Fox 1. So at the moment, I'm working my way through the games, going from because I've played all these games before. Of course, I have. I'm working my way through from the games that I know that I used to be shit at, up to the games that I know that I used to be good at. I'm working my way through in that sort of spectrum. And I've discovered I'm still shit at the games I used to be shit at, which is brilliant. So Contra 3, I'm still terrible. Super Ghouls and Ghosts, I am still really terrible. And I'm just working my way through like that. I mean, the next one on my hit list is F-Zero.
Right. Well, F-Zero's a pretty easy racer. I mean, there's nothing so super crazy about it that, you can or can't be shit at with. Although
it's one of my
thinking back,
it's one of my middle of the ground ones where I was never terrible, but I was never great. So yeah, I'm working my way through that way. And I work my way right up to Super Metroid, which is the game I'm easily best at out of this entire collection. And is also second favorite game of all time. So what are you going to do?
Is that sitting right behind you over there?
What, the SNES Mini?
Behind your head.
Yes.
Yeah, the SNES Mini, yeah. Wow.
That pretty little thing.
Oh, that's adorable.
The thing is, I've already done this on an unboxing, but it is tiny. That's minuscule.
It is very tiny.
And it weighs nothing as well. It's just and the thing is, favorite console of all time. So having it in a small, compact form, absolutely beautiful.
Love it.
What have you been playing?
Too bad it's Nintendo that's been, limiting the quantity of it, of course. So I'm not even gonna bother. Thank you. Me, I haven't really added anything to my rotation because I still have a bunch of things that I need to finish. I do have Hellblade, and I do want to do a Let's Play of it, but time does not really exist, and it's not on my side.
I know the pressures and the horrible fact of time. But Hellblade is supposed to be amazing. We discussed this last week as well, I think.
Yeah, it looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks great. It looks really tough. It looks like it's going to be rage-inducing, so yeah, I really want to do that. I have made progress in Dark Souls, as you probably saw yesterday as well. A little bit of progress, yes.
Well, any progress in Dark Souls is good progress.
Yeah. I finally have my gear again, yes.
But yeah, you've made solid. You've got through Lighttown, which is, to be fair, compared to what a lot of people think about Dark Souls 1, that is a massive achievement.
I will take that as my badge of honor. So let's jump right in. So this time we're gonna do a little bit of change of format because it's Gamescom and we gotta talk a lot about Gamescom. So we're just gonna start with the bad stuff first. Let's start with the bad stuff. And let's start with one of the bigger ones, Mass Effect Andromeda. No more patches, no more DLC, only multiplayer support. That is what they've said. And yeah, there we go. So let me hear your thoughts.
See, I've never played Mass Effect. However, I have a massive issue with this because of the implications that and basically the implications are a word I'm going to be saying a lot during this.
Okay.
EA have absorbed BioWare, or specifically have absorbed the studio that made Mass Effect Andromeda. And let's just say Mass Effect Andromeda did not set the world alight. I think I'm not being too controversial saying that. So for its support to have ended so soon and so abruptly, I can't help but feel it's something to do with EA rather than the developer themselves. And that has really horrible.
I wouldn't disagree.
And that has really horrible implications for the industry. That I don't think I'm being too outlandish saying this. A shithead of a company like EA absorbing a studio that was doing quite well, really, and then essentially absolving them of all responsibility to do with the game, and then cutting any patches is nuts.
That is really, really bananas to me that they would cut the development. Although I have to say, I'm not totally surprised. There was like huge backlash when it came to the facial animations, and then all the stories came out about the infighting and the outsourcing and the fact that they were just pressing for deadlines. And I just felt like EA's gonna do one, because EA came to mind immediately, is gonna do one of two things. They're either gonna push the shit out of DLC and patches and all that and make this the best game possible, or they're just gonna stop everything. There was no in between there.
And they chose the latter.
Of course. Of course they chose the latter.
And it's the fact they very weakly come out at EA. I think I can accredit this to EA. I'd need to check my sources properly. But EA came out with the weak, very, very weak, we still support Mass Effect comment after this all came out as well. And it's just like, if you supported Mass Effect, you would support Andromeda, with it being the last release in that series. That would make sense.
You would make it a better game.
Yes.
That's what you would do if you supported it. It's understandable that you're going to support the multiplayer, of course, because, hey, that's what you want to do. You want to keep people playing it, and you've already promised that multiplayer is going to exist, so there's no choice right over there. But you made an awful-looking game. I mean, apparently the gameplay of it is amazing, but it's just you can't get over this egregious fact that it looks ugly.
Yep.
And meme-worthy. So meme-worthy.
Oh, that's something we're going to come back to later as well, isn't it? Ugly and meme-worthy.
Absolutely. It's going to be a recurring theme today.
That might as well be the tagline of this entire podcast, I think.
But it just depresses me as well. I mean, Mass Effect had such an impact on the industry. It's a legendary franchise at this point. It was such an exciting thing to see a new Mass Effect series come out. And to just have it crash and burn like that it's heart-wrenching, to say the least.
Yeah, I agree so much. I don't even play Mass Effect, and I know the impact it's had, and I know that this isn't a good thing, regardless of which way you spin it.
Absolutely. Next on the list we have here Mario and Rabbids. Sorry, I keep saying Rabbids. Day 1 DLC.
Fuck Ubisoft for this. I have a huge issue with Day 1 DLC. It's almost like I have an issue with season passes as well. In fact, let's just sweep this under one broad stroke. I have a problem with DLC for the most part. But the biggest issue I have is Day 1 DLC. I think it's a complete... Why carve that out of the game? If that's Day 1 DLC, it is ready for Day 1. Put it in the fucking game. It's not that hard. They've been making games for the previous 20 years without doing this stupid bullshit. Why are they doing it now? So the fact that Ubisoft are selling this season pass on the, oh, you get this on day one. No, fuck off. Should have been in the game to begin with. I have such an issue. And Zelda did it as well. And a game that I actually quite like, and we're going to talk about later, has done it as well. Luckily, that game is brilliant enough that it hasn't affected it. But Mario and Rabbids was a game that I was looking forward to playing. But now I'm just like, do I really want to support that on day one now that Ubisoft have pulled such a stunt?
And that's the worst bit, is that this is part of a season pass.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a season pass, and guess what? You bought the season pass, and you get you get day one DLC as well, which is supposed to sound like a good thing, I guess. Like, oh, you get access to this on day one. But I don't know. I mean, day one DLC has always been like a huge controversial point, and I think I always think it's really ballsy when a company just comes out and says, "We got day one DLC," and it's like, okay, I hope you're ready for the shitstorm, guys.
Yeah. And the thing is, it couldn't have happened to a less deserving game. This is essentially a new franchise. It's a completely new genre that Mario hasn't been in before. Not this genre specifically. I think he's been in turn-based things, but not in something this specific. And it's
not an XCOM style strategy
precisely
game, yeah.
And it's the return of the Rabbids, who haven't been seen for a while because they got really oversaturated. So like, this game's being gimped out of the gate by the fact that they have decided to go with one of the worser practices of the games industry at the moment, which is season passes and day one DLC. It's been worsened by that exact fact.
That is, I'm just baffled. And I feel like this is, again, also, because we can't like just throw the blame at Ubisoft. This is also a Nintendo thing. They shouldn't have gone with this.
No.
They shouldn't have approved this at all. I mean, it's just ridiculous to me.
But Nintendo haven't exactly had a great history with season passes, though. Let's be honest. They've done some fantastic ones and they've done some awful ones at the same time. So they've got a really shaky history with season passes.
Nintendo, to me, will always be that company that never totally understands today's situation. So, like, every 5 years, there's going to be some kind of change in the industry, something different, and Nintendo's just going to keep staying behind all of it.
Yeah, and then when they catch up, they seem to, more often than not, do the worser parts of that new trend.
Absolutely. Well, thank God the Switch is good. I'm just happy for that.
Yeah, the Switch is great. I do warrant the Switch is amazing.
All right, and now the next big one. Final Fantasy 15. Lots of Final Fantasy 15 news, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Some of it is, okay, I see what you're trying to do over there. And some of it is like, really?
Yeah.
Let's start with the soft stuff. Let's take this like, very lightly first. There's going to be a pocket edition of the game.
Yeah.
For mobile devices, which they're calling Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition.
Yeah.
And that's basically gonna be the game, but with chibi-style characters for mobile devices. So you're basically gonna be able to play the game's story in some capacity in a Pocket Edition like that. And it's been heavily hinted that this might be coming to the Switch as well.
Okay. What the fuck are Square playing at?
Fragmented market.
That statement will become more strong as this news to do with 15 goes on. But what are they playing at? Releasing Final Fantasy, a game which took so long, had so much effort and love and attention and care put into it over a 10-year period, changed multiple directors, multiple directions in terms of the game. A game that is, in my opinion, Final Fantasy 15 is fantastic. I can't fault, well, I can fault the game on parts, but I can't fault the game overall. Brilliant game. I really enjoyed playing it. So to reduce that to a mobile title, after all the effort that preceded it, just feels very, very cash grab and very, very reductive as to what the game was trying to achieve initially.
I'm in the same boat because I mean I do like the idea, like let's put it this way. They did have like all of their old titles come out for mobile as well, which makes a lot of sense, okay? I mean, to play Final Fantasy 5 or 6 on your mobile phone, or 4, or even the even older ones is great. It's a great idea. But I think that's what they were trying to do with 15, is that, yeah, we want to make a version of this that you can have on a mobile device. But it's so cash grabby, considering that there are these other, specifically for mobile, Final Fantasy games. It's like, why? It's so unnecessary. And you even have this Final Fantasy 15 kingdom building, city creating kind of game that's kind of like Clash of Clans, I guess, or whatever, which is absolutely atrocious and another big cash grab. Yeah, it's just cash grab all over the place with Square these days.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's such a shame because 15 as a standalone product is fantastic. Even the first supplementary material that came out for 15, which was the movie Kingsglaive, was also fantastic, and yet now they are ruining it, really ruining it, and I think that segues into the next point.
Oh yeah, all right. So there is first of all, it's coming out on PC.
Oh, actually, yes, that's a great thing. That is great.
That's a great thing. That's the good thing. So we should have led with It's coming out on PC, which is fantastic. So try and rewind that to the beginning, guys. Just block it off like that. But
or see it as a horrible sandwich with something bad, then something good, then something bad.
Okay, we served up a shit sandwich here on the Weekly Gaming Blast. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We've fed you your lunch or dinner or whatever for today. But here's the big end of the sandwich, the big bun that just, shits it all up together. The VR DLC, Monster of the Deep. Take it away.
They have turned the worst aspect of Final Fantasy 15 into a standalone VR game that costs £25. £25 right? For a extended fishing minigame in VR.
Why? Just somebody tell me why.
You know, the worst thing about this is, I don't know whether you remember E3, I think it was not E3 2017, E3 2016. They showed off a VR minigame for Final Fantasy 15. I don't know whether you remember.
Yeah, you take control of Prompto.
Precisely.
You're shooting stuff.
A first-person shooter playing as Prompto. I hated that at the time, and yet now, based on what they have released, I would actually have preferred that.
I would have preferred that as well. It makes so much more sense. Yes. You could at least teleport around. It could be like this shooter on rails kind of thing where you're supporting the team from the sidelines, and that sounds like kind of interesting.
Yes,
I guess. But fishing?
I love the fact as well that in the advertising materials for Monster of the Deep, they have worded it as the acclaimed fishing minigame. It was not acclaimed at all. Nobody did the fishing because it was horrendous.
I didn't even start it because in a video game, when I see fishing
on expansion,
whenever I see fishing in a game, I stay away. I absolutely abhor fishing in games because nobody can do it right. And maybe somebody might point me to the direction of a good fishing mini game in a game, but I would still hate it because I think it's boring.
There hasn't been one. Even Ocarina of Time, one of the considered to be best games of all time, the fishing minigame is shite. And that's because fishing does not translate into games. It doesn't. So turning it into a full-on expansion for £25 is taking the absolute piss.
And there it is. That is the expression I was looking for here.
I'm so furious. I'm actually furious about it.
I don't get it. Well, I do get what they're doing. Okay, they're trying to put this massive franchise they're trying to establish, because let's be honest, this is Square trying to make Final Fantasy 15 into this massive universe that's just going to keep making money for them. They're trying to create a cash cow, basically. But they're trying so hard to put it everywhere. And it doesn't have to be. We didn't need Final Fantasy 15 in VR. We didn't need it.
No. And the thing is, look at last time they tried to make a massive universe out of a Final Fantasy game. It succeeded in Japan, which is why it continued. But in Europe and North American territories, people hated Final Fantasy 13. And yet they still tried, because Lightning was popular in Japan for reasons I don't understand. Because how can anyone like a character that's that two-dimensional? I don't get it. But they tried to make that into a thing as well.
It just baffles me. It goes beyond any logic that I have to, like, I could even fathom. I mean, Final Fantasy is a legendary series, in my opinion, for one very important reason. And that is because they make a standalone story with its own unique magic system and leveling system and character development system. And then they move on to the next one. This is what Final Fantasy has always been about for me, which is why I'm a little bit skeptical about the whole Final Fantasy VII Remake debacle, which I don't want to go into at the moment, considering the news about it being episodic and all that shit. But that's my point of view on Final Fantasy. Let it be a standalone story and move on to the next game. Please. Please.
I agree.
Please.
I agree.
All right, we served up your sandwich. There it goes. I hope y'all enjoyed it. So let's move on to Gamescom, because that's where we got some more news that was not all that great, but we got also some really nice stuff to talk about. So, Switch is getting PayPal. Well, this wasn't really a Gamescom thing, but it was still happening during the Gamescom week. So Switch is finally getting a PayPal option on the eShop, which happened faster than I expected. It's great, yeah. But sad news for those who think that we can do some cross-region buying. No, because PayPal is region-locked by default on its own, and I assume that's also the reason why Nintendo went for that route, because, it's... they don't want you just easily cross-buying things without, buying the necessary cards.
Well, to be fair, although that is the case, that is true, it is still easier on Switch to set up a Japanese account than it is on any other console at the moment.
That's fair, yeah. I made a Japanese account recently to get the Monster Hunter demo, and that was dead easy. I didn't even need to fiddle with Japanese or anything like that. It just happened. It was really fast.
Yeah, the Switch is very, very easy for doing that, which is brilliant, and I think that's such a good call.
Yeah, and if you want to buy cards, I use PlayAsia.com, and it's so easy to get card codes these days from PlayAsia. So, yeah, if you really want games from cross-region, yeah, get the cards, guys. I mean, yeah, that way at least you're supporting the different regions of Nintendo, and that's perfectly fine by me. All right, new character for ARMS, Lollapop, along with a brand new stage and what is supposedly an update called ARMS version 3, which we don't know yet what it means. So what do you think of the new character?
I love the character. I really like her design. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the hidden character in the base game, Max Brass. I wasn't a fan of his design, but Lollapop looks really fun.
Yeah, she looks really, really fun, and I'm not usually a clown type of player. I don't pick up clown type of characters, but this one looks really fun, and I'm definitely going to give her a go.
Yeah, she looks great. And the new stage as well, which is obviously her stage, looks fantastic as well. It's very clear that ARMS is something they are very dedicated to supporting for a long period. So this is essentially Splatoon again, but with a completely different genre, and that is a very, very good thing.
I'm really excited. Some people are saying ARMS is dead, which, come on, guys. I mean, the game just came out quite recently, so let's not call dead before the game is supported properly. I along with Lollapop, we're getting some brand new ARMS types as well. We're getting these nunchuck arms that she was using to flick away opponents' attacks. She had this other shield looking arms that were I don't know how they were different from Twintel's umbrellas, but apparently they do work a little differently. And then she had these other triple cannon kind of arms as well. She just, like, there's a lot that's coming with this update. Hopefully there's more to be added to the game with version 3 as well. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I will probably pick it up again when 3.0 comes out anyway.
Yeah, me too. And we should see if the online has improved, because when we played, that wasn't very good, right?
Yeah, that wasn't the best connection, was it?
No, not at all.
A couple of Nintendo bits to add in before we move on to the next point that I completely forgot to add to our list, so I apologize on that. Fire Emblem Warriors has a release date.
Really? Oh shit, I missed that. What is it?
20th of October.
All right, I like that. That gives me an October game. Yeah.
I've now got too many games in October. It's horrible. So that's, yes, and it's coming with a limited edition as well, which I'm not particularly interested in the limited edition, but it does have some cool bits in it, like it has a soundtrack, which is quite cool. As another Nintendo bit, they showed off the essentially final trailer for Metroid Samus Returns as well during Gamescom, and that game looks incredible. I can't wait to get my hands on that in a couple of weeks' time. And there was one more thing from Nintendo, which I can't remember off the top of my head, which I really should have wrote these down.
What was it? Mario. I know the other thing. Mario has won the Best of Show at Gamescom. Super Mario Odyssey won the award for Best of Show. Yeah.
Yes, and that leads me on to the other thing that I forgot, but I've now remembered. Metroid Samus Returns won Best Handheld at Gamescom.
Awesome.
So Nintendo had a very good show, clearly a very strong showing at Gamescom. So I'm looking forward to the next couple of months of Nintendo releases, I think.
It makes me wonder, should I just go and pick up another 3DS now? Because I want my Metroid. I want my Metroid.
Well, I'll let you know. I'll let you know what it's like, because I'll probably I've ordered it directly from Nintendo, and usually they're quite good at getting it to you on time. So
I might have to borrow it off you. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll definitely see. On to something not as, like, it's half good and half not good, I guess. Shenmue 3 finally has a trailer, which on the one hand raises hope that this game is still happening, but on the other hand, it looks like shit.
Yes. Well, actually, the worst thing about it in terms of the looks like shit part of that comment is the locations, the backgrounds, the details in terms of location. It looks incredible, but then the character models look fucking awful. So I found the trailer very jarring, because I was looking, whenever it showed a kind of sweeping vista or like a kind of camera panning over a location, it looked amazing, and then the character models would appear and it looked horrible. And I don't know, because the developer has come out, the director has come out and said that those models aren't final, but that still makes it a really jarring.
Release a trailer like that then?
Precisely. It does
because
make
there's a huge juxtaposition
Yes.
between the environments and the characters. It's just silly.
And the thing is, I wouldn't mind that so much if it was on purpose. But it doesn't look like they've done that on purpose. That's the issue I have. Because if you go back to Final Fantasy VII, which had beautiful pre-rendered backgrounds and then polygonal models for the characters, that was on purpose.
Yeah.
And you can kind of agree with it and you can accept it because it was on purpose and it does kind of make sense within that universe. This, however, they've gone for hyperreal, and I mean hyperreal, stunning locations, and then they've attempted a kind of hyperreal anime character model kind of setup, and that does not work.
I think that nails it. A hyper real anime character. I think that, yeah.
So it makes every character look very Uncanny Valley and also very meme-worthy. Like, almost every still of that trailer of a character trying to do a facial expression is meme-worthy in its own right.
Okay, you know what you're reminding me of now? You know the pictures that some people, they make these pictures, what if anime characters existed in the real world? And you see these humongously ugly people with these huge heads and these huge eyes. That is exactly what I'm thinking of right now.
Yes, and that is what that trailer looks like, just surrounded with beautiful locations. I don't get it.
This is gonna be nuts. Well, I hope it's not another, because this is a Kickstarter thing right now, right?
Yeah, which is worrying.
It is worrying. I hope it's not another Kickstarter disaster like Mighty Number 9. I've been burnt so deeply. Right, but onwards to more exciting stuff.
Yes, more good news.
The Secret of Mana.
Yes.
Remake for PS4, PC, and Vita.
There isn't confirmation on this, but if that has online 3-player co-op, I am sold.
Jesus. It could.
It's on PlayStation 4, Vita, and PC. It could very easily have cross-platform, well, as cross-platform as Sony gets.
Sony willing.
3-player cooperative online.
Absolutely. It would be the, I think it would be the greatest JRPG to come out in the last 10 years.
The only issue I have with it at the moment is that it looks a bit ropey. As in, like, visually, it looks a bit ropey.
It does a little bit, yeah. I can't say it looked like the greatest thing I've ever seen, but it's Secret of Mana.
Yes, one of the best JRPGs of all time coming back onto modern consoles with hopefully online co-op. It could be the best thing to happen in the last few years. And the thing is, the thing which really angers me, and really kind of really amuses me at the same time, is that Square Enix. The same Square Enix that have done the Monster of the Deep Final Fantasy 15 DLC have also done a remake of one of the best JRPGs of all time for modern consoles. So they giveth and they definitely taketh away.
Please don't go for franchise. Please don't go for franchise. Please don't go for franchise.
Oh, yes. Don't you dare give me some stupid, like, I don't know, what would it be? Photography DLC for bloody Secret of Mana. Don't do it.
VR photography on Secret of Mana. You heard this here first, ladies and gentlemen. Please be sure to petition Square Enix not to take this advice at all. Forget it.
Oh, don't. Please don't.
Right. Wait a minute. Am I reading this correctly? New fighter for Street Fighter V being announced today at the... it's being announced today at the end of the ESFHK. It's the Capcom Pro Tour event in Hong Kong, right?
It is indeed, yes. So we could end up seeing, I cannot remember her name, the apprentice of Rose. That's what it seems to be.
Manette. Manatee. I don't know, whatever. Something like that.
But basically, because I can't remember who it was. I think it was Vesper Arcade, actually, who I saw first bring this to my attention. Whenever Capcom announced that a new character is coming, they change their icon very slightly on Twitter. And usually in that icon is a hint as to who the next DLC character is. So previously, they've had the Street Fighter V logo encased in ice, which was Colleen. They had it surrounded by purple energy, which was Ed. And they had it surrounded by neon lights, which was Abigail. And this time it's surrounded by a crystal ball, so that does very heavily hint at Manette.
It's probably going to be Manette or Manet, whatever. We will have to
or
find
Manu,
out
or however it's pronounced.
Or Manure, because that's exactly what the game smells like. And that's your Street Fighter V dig right over there for this episode.
Yeah, we can't go an episode without doing it, but on this occasion I'm not going to do it because I'm giving Street Fighter V a little bit of leeway and a little bit of time now, simply because it's a very, very popular game, and it must be popular for a reason. And I do enjoy watching it to an extent. I don't enjoy watching a lot of it, so like I'm only going to watch, say, the top 4 of the Hong Kong Capcom Cup League. But it's a somewhat enjoyable game to watch. I won't say thoroughly, but somewhat. And there's obviously the heavy rumours about Super Street Fighter V, which will be the point that you get back in, I'm assuming.
I will definitely jump back in if that were to happen, yes.
And not to mention, it's a restrictive but slightly enjoyable experience. So I'm going to give it a little bit of slack this week.
Right. Well, I'm always excited to see what's new to come out for the game. Street Fighter, like, I give it a lot of flack, but there's a reason I give it a lot of flack, and that is because it is a beloved game. to me, it's my childhood. It's something so important to me as a game, and that's why I give it a lot of flack. And I'm definitely always interested to see the new developments. I just don't like the way Capcom's treating the series. I just don't.
I agree.
I
I totally agree.
I feel like they've just sidelined it because we're seeing the things they're doing with Monster Hunter World, which is something we didn't add in here, but we're definitely have to discuss it because Monster Hunter World is looking absolutely amazing. And
I will give it that. It does.
And it's
really.
getting some good reactions from people who are checking it out. It looks gorgeous. They're adding so many new features that are probably only possible to do on a console as powerful as a PS4. And it's just looking amazing, and they're nailing it with the marketing on this as well. There's so many videos on YouTube right now showing off the weapons and the environments and the monsters. It's looking great, and this game is fantastic. It's hard to believe that this is the same development company that is making Street Fighter V.
And let's not forget Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Exactly, which is looking better. It's looking better. Let's be fair over here.
Yes.
It's looking better.
No,
and
it
the
definitely is.
gameplay looks crazy good. But again, I can't help but see another DLC machine coming out of this, in the same vein of Street Fighter V.
Well, it's because the opening roster in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is lacking.
Greatly. Hugely. So much lacking in that area. Lots of characters missing. But anyway, we should make this a talk one day, like just talk Capcom and fighting games just to get that out of the way. But now since we're on to fighting games and we really need to talk about something extremely positive, the game that you and I are most looking forward to right now, Dragon Ball FighterZ, all this new info coming out. We saw 3 androids. 2 of them will be like one character, Android 17 and 18 together as one character, so it's likely that Android 17 is going to have 18 as an assist, or is it the other way around? I forget.
It's the other way around. It's 18 is the main fighter, but 17's the kind of assist.
A kind of assist. So that's going to be very, very interesting. They showed off Piccolo. So excited for Piccolo. One of my favorite Dragon Ball characters. They showed off Krillin, who's looking fantastic as well. And we also got Android 16, who is they're turning into the grappler of the game, I guess, because he's got a lot of throws.
He has some watching the tournament at Gamescom. 16 has some very interesting setups, like the sort of setups that I have not really seen in a fighting game before. It's the closest comparator I can think of for 16 in Dragon Ball FighterZ is like Potemkin in Guilty Gear, in terms of interesting setups. Yeah, Ortega, actually, in Blaze.
Yeah, because Arxis knows how to make an interesting grappler. They're taking risks with their grapplers, which is really good. And that's something that Capcom and other fighting games really try to, avoid. Well, maybe SNK actually historically has some very interesting grapplers. They have some of the best grapplers in a fighting game ever. Other thing that they showed off with Dragon Ball FighterZ, and it's the collector's edition, man. The collector's edition. That is beautiful.
It is. It's an absolutely stunning collector's edition, and that statue, the Super Saiyan Goku statue, is incredible.
Absolutely, and I love the tin case. I love the steelbook case. It has the anime, the manga on it. It looks beautiful.
They're putting so much effort into it, and it does really please me. Like the game, I mean, I watched pretty much the whole of the top 32 at Gamescom, and the game is looking amazing. And this is at such an early stage. I mean, it comes out in February. That's still a month's worth of development.
Yes, and it's shaping up. So it's already shaping up incredibly nicely. The game is gorgeous, and it plays nicely. It looks like you're playing. You're actually playing an episode of Dragon Ball, without all the screaming in between, of course. But yeah.
Yeah, and the thing which I really like is the matches aren't over immediately.
Oh no, they're because every time a character dies, you go into another round, which I think is very clever. I think it's a
Yes,
very
I
clever
really
touch.
like that. And not only that, but there's no, or at this point in time, in terms of what people have been playing of it, there's no infinite combos like you see in Marvel vs. Capcom. The combos will end and you will be able to recover from it. It's very similar in concept to like BlazBlue and Guilty Gear, in which there's no combos that will emit, there's no 100% life combos. There's some quite high, but 100% life combos don't seem to be a thing in Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is great for someone like me who's not overly fantastic at fighting games, but really enjoys playing them. I won't get massacred every time. And you can bet I'm going to be spending a lot of time on this game.
Yeah, from the infos that we're getting out of it is also, it seems that the controls are not going to be that complex. The game will have like some degree of accessibility while also holding the depth that comes innate with every, you know, team-based fighting game like this.
Well, apparently the supers, apparently almost all of the supers are quarter circle motion and 2 buttons.
That's great. That's amazing.
That was said during the Gamescom tournament, and if that's the case, that makes the game so accessible. Which you and I are very, very. We're like flag bearers for accessibility in fighting games. So. Yeah.
Good accessibility, not something crazy like, hey, let's just give you a single button DP or something. Let's be fair. Also, they did show off the 2 God Super Saiyans, Goku and Vegeta, and they're looking quite different from their regular Super Saiyan versions, which is great, because that was one point of contention that people had. Maybe, what if they're basically clones? How are they going to play? No, they seem to play completely differently. I know you're not so hype about the God Super Saiyans, but I think that trailer they showed off with the 2 God Super Saiyans was unbelievably awesome. That just got me so excited.
Well, to be fair, they do look very different, and that pleases me. I'm not particularly happy that they're day 1 DLC.
No, that doesn't please me at all.
I have an issue with day 1 DLC. I covered that earlier, but and I've already decided what, based on the characters that are currently announced, I already know what my team would be in Dragon Ball FighterZ. So the gods don't affect me at all, really, in terms of my enjoyment of the game. Plus, also, I'm sure I read somewhere that they're unlockable in game as well.
I think that's the thing. They're not day 1 DLC. They're early unlock for those who buy, for those who pre-order. They're an early unlock.
But they're unlockable in game.
Yeah.
So that I agree with a lot more.
That definitely is better than just, you know, straight up DLC. That's just way better. And speaking of teams, I'm just gonna disclose mine right over here. Piccolo, Gohan, and Future Trunks. There's my team. That's what I'm locking in until I decide that it's completely trash, and then we're moving on.
And mine will be, well, mine at the moment, unless they announce a character that changes this, Future Trunks, Android 18, and Krillin. Because Krillin has some very, very interesting setups. And not to mention, having Android 18 and Krillin on the same team feels kind of canonical. I like it.
It does seem pretty meta. There's some meta going on over there. I like it. I like it.
And Future Trunks has some has a fantastic command grab from the looks of things. And I don't usually play characters that have command grabs, but he has so many interesting dynamics that occur with him and don't occur with other characters, because he has a fucking sword. And that changes the way he plays compared to other characters quite distinctly.
And he just moves beautifully in the game as well. It's just unbelievable. They've done such a good job with Future Trunks. So anyway, check out the tournament, the ESL Gamescom tournament. That shit's really worth checking out right now, because you're going to see the game in motion with good players, you know, doing some awesome stuff on screen. So give that a look. And,
yeah, the guy who won has clearly played it enough to realize what works with what character into what character. So he was doing some incredible setups using the assists and switching characters.
Definitely keep that in mind. Definitely check that out, guys. So yeah, that's all the news we have to. Oh, wait a minute. No. There's something we also didn't include in the notes, but I want to talk about it briefly. Biomutant. From the
yes.
ex-developers of Just Cause 3, that game might just be one of my dream games of all time.
THQ Nordic, you absolute diamonds. Like, that game leaked, or at least images of it leaked, a couple of days before the official announcement at Gamescom. And when I saw the initial artwork, I was like, this looks amazing. What is it? I want to know what this is. What is it? And then when I saw the announcement trailer and also the subsequent gameplay trailer, if you've seen that, the game looks incredible.
It looks incredible. It's open world. You have a character who has guns and a sword, which something about that kind of setup just drives me bananas. I love it. I absolutely like to play characters like that. Fully customizable, even though there's a set protagonist in the game. You can customize him. He's some kind of fox, rabbit, tanuki mix kind of mutant animal. And yeah, you're basically wandering around a world where everything around you is mutated. There's some kind of oil that each faction around is trying to, you know, take control of, which controls the mutations. I don't know. Check out the videos, guys. This game looks great, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. I'm gonna let's play the shit out of this game.
Yeah, that will literally shoot up my let's play, my Twitch channel streaming thing once it comes out. It's gonna replace everything.
Awesome sauce. So yeah, that's Gamescom. I'm pretty sure there's other stuff we didn't mention, but hey, we can't cover it all in one episode. If there's something we missed, by all means, if there's something we missed that you're excited for, please sound off in the comments below. And speaking of comments below, let's hear out. We got anything to share with us today, Ruben?
Yes, I now have a .com. That's my biggest piece of news.
Woo!
It's now ruethegamer.com. That's where all of my, literally everything I do gets pulled to there. Everything I do on the internet will get pulled to there at some point. So all of the episodes of this have been pulled to there. All of the articles I write for Nintendo Scene, the personal reviews I write, all of my Twitch stream, my YouTube videos, they all go to that one spot now, which is wonderful. It's good having a nice central hub. And I've reworked the design and everything, so it now all works and looks flash, or at least looks relatively flash. I'm not a graphics designer or a web designer. I've done the best I can, and I think it looks good. So I'm leaving it at that, because if I mess with it, I will mess it up.
Well, I love it. I've checked it out. I love it. It's great. Amazing. The link is going to be in the description below.
Ah, good. And also, I will be, over the next week, I will be posting on Nintendo Scene, which will also obviously go onto my site, my preview of the SNES Mini.
Awesome. And you've also got an unboxing that you mentioned. Go to Rue the Gamer's YouTube channel and check that out. Unboxing of the SNES Mini.
Yeah, it's so cute. It's an adorable little thing. What have you been doing? Or what can we see of you?
Episode 18 of my Dark Souls Let's Play came out yesterday. I've titled it The Escape from Blighttown, because I've managed to escape Blighttown, but of course, as usual, there are hiccups along the way. No boss fight yet, and I know that can be disappointing to some, but definitely check it out. I feel like I had some really, really disastrous moments in that run. So you'll find that at my YouTube channel.
Episode 18 has some of my favorite ones of your mess ups. Because
No
some of them are
spoilers.
just
Spoilers.
yeah, I won't spoil anything, but there are just some moments where you have made the slightest mistake and it has cost you greatly.
In my heart and in my mind and my sanity, it has costed me. Also, I'd like to mention I'm going to be doing soonish, and I don't want to say soon or soonish. I hate it, but yeah, at some point there's going to be an update video, because I got a few things I'm working on in the background when it comes to my YouTube channel. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I've got a few things to talk about. One of them is definitely going to be about Destiny 2, because that's going to take up a lot of my gaming time from September 6th. So yeah, stay tuned for an update video from me. And yeah, that's gonna do it. You can find me as usual at AkibanaZero on Twitter, and there's also my Facebook page, fb.me/AkibanaZero, and all my other links in the description below. And Rue, you can find
Rue
him
the
on
Gamer,
YouTube.
as you know. There's the Twitter. And also ruethegamer.com.
Yep, ruethegamer.com. You've got a Facebook page, you've got a YouTube channel, you got a Twitch channel. You do it all, man. You do it
Yeah,
all.
they're all linked. They're all linked on there. So if you go to ruethegamer.com now, on the About contact page, it has links to all of everything I do.
Awesome. So that's the Rue the Gamer hub right over there. All right, and that's gonna do it for this week's weekly gaming blast. Hope you had a blast, and we will catch you next time.
Yep, catch you next week, guys.